Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. As the Tennessee Titans fail to get it done against the New Orleans Saints, they fall 38-28. But the Pittsburgh Steelers also lost today. So now we have a scenario where the Tennessee Titans have a potential win and get in. Not even potential. It is a win and get in game. Week 17 against the Houston Texans. So actually right now the Tennessee Titans are the 6th seed. And if they win next week, they get in. Period. Okay, so all is not lost today. But, it would have been nice to win today because there are scenarios where if the Titans lose next week, they do get in. But if they would have won today, then you'd be feeling much more confident heading into next week. Because making the playoffs at 8-8, and then the Raiders are getting back involved in the picture, and the Colts are getting back involved in the picture. So winning today would have had to just be between us and the Steelers, and that's it. And now the Raiders are in play, and now the Colts are in play. But ultimately, this football team just has to man up and win a Week 17 game to get to the playoffs. I mean, that's pretty much what it boils down to. We're trying to back into the playoffs at 8-8, having lost our last 3 games. We don't deserve to go to the playoffs, and that's just the truth. Okay, even though these will be 3 respectable losses, these will be losses to the Houston Texans twice and the New Orleans Saints. Yes, I agree with that, but you cannot have that scenario, to me, in which you've lost your last 3 games, you back in the playoffs 8-8. That's not something to be proud of, okay? I don't buy that. So anyway, the Titans failed to get it done today, and very frustrating. And let's go straight to the big play, which pretty much lost the Tennessee Titans this football game. A play that I'm actually pretty upset about. You guys know I don't like to make excuses. I'm not one to blame the whole game on one individual play, and I'm not going to. There's going to be a lot of things that I discussed today. But this is one of those times you can actually look at a play and say, okay, we got screwed. On the Khalif Raymond fumble, which was a fumble, he was targeted. Without a doubt, the New Orleans Saints defender absolutely targeted Khalif Raymond's head with his shoulder. He went in shoulder to the head. His head was right there. That was the only thing his shoulder could hit was his head. Period. Khalif Raymond was targeted. That should have been a penalty. That drive should have continued. I believe that the Tennessee Titans would have scored a touchdown on this drive. I don't know how much time would have been left. If there was significant time left, it's very much a distinct possibility that Drew Brees goes down the field and gets the touchdown required to win the game. That is very much a possibility because at that point we'd be up by 4 points, assuming we hit the extra point if we got a touchdown on that drive. I also believe at the very least we would have got a field goal. I don't know how Greg Joseph is going to do in terms of kicking field goals because he wasn't a great kickoff specialist today. But I think, there's a decent chance we at least get a field goal tie game, and then maybe, again, Drew Brees goes down the field and scores a touchdown. So, I understand. It's not all on that, but we got screwed on that. I mean, I don't know how they missed this. It was pretty obvious to me. Khalif Raymond was absolutely blown up, but the refs missed it, and it sucks for us because, again, that was a huge play that they missed, a huge call that they missed and that they should not have missed. So that was unfortunate. And by the way, I believe it was C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That's the Saints' ridiculous player that targeted Khalif Raymond. Watch your back in the parking lot. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. So anyway, and not by me, okay? I'm not threatening him. I'm just saying, you never know what happens. It's a wild city. So anyway, outside of that, then we look at the whole game. And again, it just exposes our issues. And one of the most frustrating thing to me, actually, overall, it's nice that we're a winning team. Don't get me wrong, it's nice that we're a winning team. It's just frustrating that we're not going anywhere as a franchise. Here we are, we're sitting 8 before this game, sitting 8-6 with an opportunity to win our last 2 games against 2 strong teams to go 10-6. to break the mold a little bit. It's not even breaking much of a mold, right? Going from 9-7 to 10-6, that's not a huge mold to break, but apparently it is, right? Because at best we're going to be 9-7 again. So, here we are with week 17, another win and get in game, just like 2017, 2 years ago, a game that we won. Last year, a game that we lost, but we finished 9-7. 2016 wasn't a win and get in week 17, but if we would have won week 16, then it would have been week 17, but we lost week 16. So we're stuck. We're just stuck right now. And we believed, or at least a lot of people did, that Ryan Tannehill was the answer, right? That Ryan Tannehill, once we insert Ryan Tannehill, and he was playing great, and he's still playing great, and he had a fantastic throw. I think his touchdown throw to Tajay Sharp today was the best throw that he has had in Nashville, and honestly, one of the best throws we've seen from a Tennessee Titans quarterback ever. That was a brilliant touchdown pass to Tajay Sharp. But we still have a lot of issues on this team. And it's a mixture of personnel. It's a mixture of coaching and culture. We're just stuck. I mean, this is going to be an era. This is the 9-7 era of the Tennessee Titans, man. We're going to remember, it's going to go down. And I just hope something can break us out of this era before it all goes to hell and we end up being a bad team again. And I hope that doesn't come. I really hope it doesn't. But, you view teams in terms of eras, right? Look at our eras. We had the early Jeff Fisher, Steve McNair, Eddie George era. That's a definitive era. It lasted like 5 years. Pretty much, you can include, 97, I guess. But yeah, so let's say 97 to 2004. 4 was the end of that era. But that was definitively in that era. So yeah, that 7-year run. Then you had we stink, but we're getting, the 2005, the horrible disaster 2005 season. Then we get Vince Young, and you kind of begin the Vince Young era. So I will include the 2005, because we were still trying to, 2005 was like a transitional. I'm not going to include that in an era per se. And then 2006, we have a Vince Young era. And Vince Young era was 2006 to 2010. And not only Vince Young, but Vince Young, Kerry Collins, right? Hey, made the playoffs 2007, great team 2008, 2009, started horrible 0-6. Hey, we go on a run. Hey, we had a chance to make the playoffs, but we didn't. But CJ2K, great. And then, so that was like the Vince Young, Chris Johnson, Kerry Collins era. I'd call all three of them, actually. And probably Chris Johnson probably needs to have that. It's probably the Chris Johnson era more than it is the Vince Young or Kerry Collins era, to be honest with you. So let's call it the Chris Johnson era. Then we have the Mike Munchak, Jake Locker era, which was 2011, 2013. That's its own era. Then Ken Wisenhunt, disaster, 2014-15 era. And then we have this one. And I feel like it's ending soon. My question is it going to end in the right direction or the wrong one? Now, I think we have too much talent to just, for the floor to just crash through. But it's just frustrating. Why are we stuck? It's just frustrating. I want us to win next week, and then, hey, maybe we make the playoffs and we go on a run. And then if we do that, then fine. Hey, we were never better than 9-7, but we went on a great Super Bowl run. We won the Super Bowl, fantastic, and it's still a possibility. It is. But this would have been a nice statement win to say, hey, we got unlucky last week. We didn't show up. We didn't have our best game last week, but we are still contenders. We are true contenders in the AFC, baby. This was an opportunity. And whereas last week I felt like, it just really wasn't in our cards. Today, although we did get unlucky with the Khalif Raymond call, and there are some other things that didn't bounce our way, I just felt we were just outplayed. I just felt the Saints, especially in how they moved the football, bent us over their knee and spanked us. Our defense got spanked. It got spanked today. That's really what it all boiled down to me. The offense turned disastrous. For a stretch from the second quarter to well into the third, where Tannehill was getting sacked time and time again. Finished today with being sacked 5 times. Could have been 6, but one was called back for a penalty. And, one thing I noticed about Tannehill, Tannehill has very skinny legs, right? He's lean. He's a lean guy. I always get worried whenever these big guys are around his legs because they just look like they're going to break any moment. And Mariota was the same way. And especially with this jersey that we have now, you can really tell. But yeah, so Tannehill sacked 5 times. I started getting concerned about that. Taylor Lewan and Jack Conklin. remember when we were having dreams that these two guys could be the next Michael Roos and David Stewart. What an offensive thing to Michael Roos and David Stewart. These two are not on that level. Michael Roos was way more consistent than Taylor Lewan, way more mature as well. And David Stewart was way meaner, way nastier, and also way more consistent than Jack Conklin. Jack Conklin might be headed out the door. And I would be okay with that. His contract is running out in the offseason this upcoming March. However, I just don't trust. I know how bad the right tackle situation can get in this league. It can get really bad. So it's more of like a comfort thing with Conklin. So if we kept him, I'd understand, because going out and trying to find a new right tackle, it's easier said than done. And remember the Byron Bell? Remember Byron Bell? I mean, that's exactly the situation we could have right back in Tennessee. It's not easy to find a right tackle in this league. But Conklin struggled. Taylor Lewan, I mean, dude, you are 6'7". What is he, 305 pounds? Maybe 315 pounds, if you had McDonald's today. I mean, what are you doing getting bulldozed? I mean, getting absolutely bulldozed today. And not even by Cameron Jordan. It wasn't Cameron Jordan that bulldozed. It was some random, whatever his name was, New Orleans Saints defensive lineman. Honestly, I didn't even know who this guy was. I had no idea who this guy was. Let me look at his name right now. This New Orleans Saints defender who was absolutely dominating this guy. Granderson. Who is that? Who is Carl Granderson? Sounds like my grandpa, Carl Granderson. Hey, my name's Carl Granderson. I fought in World War II, and I came back from Vietnam, and I hate Nazis. That's what that name is. Who's that? Who is Carl Granderson? Dominated Taylor Lewan by some nobody. Are you kidding me? So, offensive line went right back to nonsense. There was also a specific play where Roger Saffold completely blew an assignment that he had to let our run game get blown up on an individual play. So I don't know what happened with the offensive line today. And at the very least, because Arthur Smith is coming back, Mike Vrabel's coming back, everyone's coming back. But this Keith Carter offensive line coach, I mean, he just has to go. I mean, seriously, he just has to go. Period. What are we talking about here? He has to go without a doubt, and I expect that he'll go. So that's what I expect. I expect at the very least for the offensive line coach to be gone, because, look, it doesn't matter if it's Tannehill or Mariota, we're getting sacked too much. We have the most sacked quarterback in the league. We have the highest sack percentage in the league. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Especially with the talent that we have on this offensive line. They all look like Tarzan and they play like Jane. Except for Ben Jones. He looks like Jane and he plays like Jane, so that's fine. A very pudgy Jane, too. He looks more like Bowser. Anyway. So, he looks actually one of the gorillas in the jungle. Anyway, so, the positives, though. There were some positives today, right? So, let's get positive for once. Ryan Tannehill continues to be fantastic. And we continue to have the debates, and they're good debates of whether or not we should extend this guy to a long-term extension. Again, look, I'm the guy that says, dog, don't get married to a girl you know for 1 year. Not even for a year. For a couple of months. Don't get married. That's just me. Now, and there are people that comment, hey, I met my wife after 3 months, and I knew she was the one, and we went to Las Vegas, and we eloped, and we went to the strip club, and we've been married 21 years. Congratulations. That is a fantastic thing. That is a beautiful thing. Do not marry someone after a couple months. It can work, but if they're truly the one, they'll be around next year. Wait until then. They're not going anywhere. Franchise him. Give him the engagement ring. That's all you need to do. I'm just saying, because, yeah, he's going to have, by the end of the year, he's still probably going to have the highest passer rating in the league. I think he's going to ask for $35 million plus a year. Just 1 year, $27 million franchise tag. You ain't going nowhere for 1 year. Probationary period, engagement ring. We'll set the wedding date. Hey, the wedding date's going to be January 2021. That's the wedding date. Or even February, let's say. February, because we should be playing in February 2021. So February 2021, that's the wedding date. Let's set the wedding date. That's when we're going to get married. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a celebration. It's going to be in Super Bowl, wherever the Super Bowl is. Super Bowl, what number of Super Bowl is that? 55, 56? Oh, it's going to be a party at Super Bowl 56. Oh, well, that's when we're going to set the wedding date. But I'm not marrying you today. Oh, I'm not marrying you right now. Hey, it's been a great 3 months. I'm not marrying no one after no 3 months. So, just slow down on that. He's playing great. And, oh, his throw. Woo! His throw to Tajay Sharp was fantastic. Him still playing well. Still not throwing an interception today, despite how bad the offensive line was. And also, there was some confusion offensively. And he was still, doing a good job in terms of really getting people on the same page. Deion Lewis at times was confused because, he has not been this type of running back this year, but he was able to direct Deion Lewis in multiple ways, helping out the offensive line as much as he could. There was only one play I actually had a problem with him, like pretty much the entire game. It was a play in which it was in the second quarter with 12 minutes left. He could have easily sit in this pocket, but he checked one down to Jonnu Smith, and I was like, why did you check it down? The protection was fine. Sit there and wait for someone to get open. And he learned that lesson later on the Tajay Sharp throw for the touchdown. So, Ryan Tannehill was fantastic. A.J. Brown was also fantastic with his 49-yard rushing touchdown. I mean, this guy is a playmaker. He is a beast. It continues to be electric. I am a little upset, a little annoyed, because that was a touchdown run instead of a touchdown pass, because now A.J. Brown is so close to breaking 1,000 yards. He had one catch? Oh, look at it. Why did I say one catches? Jesus, I need to slow down whenever I'm writing these tickers. But he had one catch today, not one catches, one catch for 34 yards, and I think that puts him, let me check his stats. But I think that puts him at about 920 receiving yards on the season. So he's going to need 80 plus next week in order to break 1,000. It'd be really nice to have him break 1,000. He doesn't have to. I'm sure he will in his time in Tennessee. But it would just be so nice to have a 1,000-yard wide receiver and for that wide receiver to be a rookie on this football team. I mean, that's insane. The last 1,000-yard wide receiver we had was Kevin Wright in 2013, which is dope. Actually blows my mind. I actually don't know. 2013 was that might be the weirdest year. 20 yeah, dude, the Mike Munchak era was crazy. 2012 actually was also pretty damn crazy. How we would lose 50-10 to the Chicago Bears, and then but we still beat up, or at least we'll beat the Jaguars once, and then maybe we'll beat I don't think we beat the Texans that year, but but we got our butts kicked multiple times in 2012, and we still went 6-10. It was really bizarre. But anyway, so A.J. Brown continues to be electric, continues to be fantastic, continues to get the job done. Now you guys see why I was so excited when we drafted him. The guy is an absolute stud. The guy is an absolute beast, and he continues to do fantastic things. I'm so excited to see his progression. There are times I was looking at our offense, and I was wondering, when I was really thinking, what we could really use? We could use a good possession wide receiver, a guy that can move the chains consistently. We're talking about Marvin Harrison and Michael Thomas today, and those are two guys that move the chains consistently. Now, those are Hall of Fame guys, but I was just thinking, hey, we could use a guy that could, just get us first downs consistently. And I'm like, wait, that should be Corey Davis. Why are we not making that Corey Davis, right? Corey Davis, to me, because A.J. Brown is a playmaker, right? He needs to get the ball. He's a guy that's going to have explosive plays, big plays. Corey Davis can do that too, don't get me wrong, but he needs to then be the yin to his yang, a guy that moves the chains consistently, a guy that we can rely upon for first downs. Jonnu Smith, who we're about to get to in a moment, he's a guy that can also pop off for these big plays. Who's moving the chains consistently? Now, one guy that can do that is Adam Humphries, and he's had a disappointing year. For him to come in getting paid $9 million a year, and right now sitting at, 300-something receiving yards, and he's missed some games. But 300-something receiving yards, that's a disappointment. So, in the future, though, this is our three. I don't think we need another wide receiver in here. But as we begin to discuss, needing to extend Corey Davis, and he's having this upcoming fifth-year option, which needs to be picked up this offseason. Do you pick that up? Because he needs to be that guy. There's no reason why. The only reason why he should not be a 1,000-yard wide receiver is if, honestly, there's no reason why, especially this year, with how there's no Delaney Walker in there, and Jonnu Smith is going to break probably 500 receiving yards, But honestly, they both should be 1,000-yard receivers. The fact that A.J. Brown is shocking. But, still, I mean, Corey Davis, he's getting open. He's still running strong routes. He is. You see it every time he actually gets the ball. He's doing stuff well with the ball. He's able to hold on to the ball when he got blown up today. I'm still a vehement Corey Davis fan. I mean, I am a Corey Davis fan. It is frustrating at times that he's not producing as much as we'd like for him to, but I don't blame him for that. I see what he does on tape. I'll never forget looking at the tape this past year during the offseason. And first thing I saw was, and I told y'all this, he stinks too. Taywan Taylor stinks. And I was like, he's going to get cut. Or at the very least, he's going to be on the roster bubble because this guy is not getting open. He's not doing anything. But Corey Davis, I just saw so many missed opportunities, so many times in which Mariota did not find him last year. And now with Tannehill again, it's just, I don't know why it's not working, but I just really feel like it's an Amari Cooper situation here. I don't think we'd ever trade Corey. I don't say ever. In fact, it might be a possibility that we trade Corey Davis, but I would not do it because I feel like you'd regret it. I feel like it'd be literally the exact same as Amari Cooper. If you traded Corey Davis to a wide receiver needed team, let's say you traded him to the Philadelphia Eagles, he's going to be a 1,000+ yard wide receiver over there. He's going to turn into a star over there. I'm telling you right now, I think we have a great thing in this duo. We need to figure out how to use them better. And look, I think if you pair him with like a Jameis Winston who doesn't care, I mean, I think he's better than Chris Godwin. That might be sacrilegious to say. But I loved Chris Godwin coming out of the 2017 draft. I wanted us to get Chris Godwin. I wanted Chris Godwin over Jonnu Smith, who, again, we're going to get into in a moment. And I want to actually say a lot about Jonnu Smith in a moment. But I wanted Chris Godwin over Jonnu Smith in that third round. I don't know why we didn't look at Chris Godwin at the time. I wanted Chris Godwin over Taywan Taylor, who we took at the wide receiver position in the third round. So I just think Corey Davis, for some reason it's not working. I'd like to see in the next game, and specifically next year, just for this duo to really become the powerful unit that I know that they can. And I think there are signs pointing towards that, and hopefully we see it next year. Now, Jonnu Smith. Now, I'm not going to say I was wrong on Jonnu Smith. I might have been wrong on this. I might have been wrong to say we should have cut him, or at least did I ever say we should cut him? I don't think I said we should cut him, but I said I don't know if he should even be the number 2 tight end. I don't think I ever said he's not even worthy of a roster spot. I said he should be on the roster bubble. I didn't think he was, definitively in the roster bubble. I thought at times Anthony Ferguson and even Michael Pruitt were more valuable than him last year. But this year, Jonnu Smith has improved tremendously. I'm loving what we're getting out of Jonnu Smith. And it's a testament to how much of a hard worker he is, to his absolute work ethic that they absolutely, they profess time and time again how much of a hard worker Jonnu Smith is. And, you're seeing the improvement that he's made. He's catching the ball consistently, and now you see, hey, whenever he gets the ball in his hands, he's able to make plays. But this is an improvement. This is why I'm saying I'm not wrong on this. He stunk last year. Don't forget, he stunk. There were plenty of times he dropped balls, plenty of times he got penalties, plenty of times he allowed sacks, plenty of times he did boneheaded dumb things. He's improved, and that's what happens in this league. Some players continue to be clowns, like Dorial Green-Beckham, like Kenny Britt, like, the clowns we've had in the past. Some improve, like Jared Cook, who we know very well and who killed us today. Jared Cook was a clown. He wasn't a total clown, but he was pretty clownish. And Jared Cook had more potential early than Jonnu Smith, but it's still an appropriate comparison. Jonnu Smith is a lot like Jared Cook in that, had a lot of clown in him early, but he's improved. And now Jared Cook is a very good tight end in this league and killed us today. I think that's the situation that we're seeing. Now, a lot of people are saying, he's our number 1 tight end. I feel comfortable with our tight ends next year. I'm not going that far, but I think it's just very low precedence, very low priority. I'm fine going into next season with Jonnu Smith, Anthony Ferguson, and Michael Pruitt. I'm fine with it. Do I love it? No. Do we have a top 10 tight end position? No. Would I like to have one? Yes. I'd like to have top 10 everything. To be honest with you, I'd love to. But it's just low priority, right? We need to, first of all, figure out what we're doing at the quarterback position, the offensive line, at the right tackle position. We need to figure out in terms of the running back position, Derrick Henry, Logan Ryan's contract. We need another pass rusher, and pass rusher, honestly, that's, I think, number 4 on that priority list, and maybe even number 3 before a running back, to be quite honest with you. Also, we need to figure out in terms of like how to get our defense to the next level. I'm about to go to the defense in a moment. So, although, and hey, he's on an upward track. So you know what? Fine. Let's trot him out there as a number 1 tight end full time next year. I just want to see, because look, he's an explosive playmaker. He is, and he's a guy that can, extend drives. Can he be that reliable blanket that you want from a tight end that we consistently got from Delanie Walker, for all those years? A guy that consistently can boom, run the curl, boom, expect the ball there and consistently get first downs. I don't know if he can do that. I don't know if he's definitely not refined in terms of a route runner yet. Can he become one? Yes, he can. So that's one thing I definitely would like to see from him. He's not an advanced route runner at this point. But if you get him the ball, he gonna run. He gonna run, right? I mean, that guy is absolutely dangerous with the football in his hands. So, fine. Next year we can go to next year with him being the number 1 tight end, Ferks for 2, MyCole Pruitt 3. Is that a top 10 tight end position in this league? No. But with the wide receivers being as strong as that they are, it's fine. It's fine, and I'd be okay with that. So, that's it for Jonnu Smith. And so there's a lot of positives, honestly, out of this game. There are a lot of positives. The play calling was fine. I just think it was fine. The stretch in the second quarter to the third quarter was just so disastrous. I mean, our offense was so inept for a stretch there. But, with the A.J. Brown run, which was a pretty creative run, and it was well designed, and we got a touchdown there, and, Jonnu Smith and his touchdown there, we have explosive plays. And then Tannehill was able to take advantage of some things. So I can't really criticize Arthur Smith much today. I'm not going to give him too much praise either because it got really bad in the middle of the game. But I was fine with the play calling. So then you look at the defense. The defense stinks. At least it did today. Overall, no, it doesn't stink overall. But it stunk today. The defense was not good today. And it's frustrating. Because I understand. Look, I understand we're missing Adoree Jackson. We're missing Malcolm Butler. But our whole defense should not have just gone out of the window. And you saw shades of our defense, shades of our strong defense in the first quarter of this game. We started out very strong in the first quarter in this game, and we were up 14-3. We were getting consistent stops. We were doing exactly what we expected to do. It was a beautiful thing early. There were shades of the defense that we once knew. But for some reason, it just went out of the window. I don't know why. Honestly, it's a collective effort. I mean, it's not even anyone that's getting picked on. It's not like they're picking on Ty Smith or they're picking on Tremaine Brock or they're picking on Logan Ryan. No, they all give up plays. And again, we saw today why Logan Ryan is a good player, not a Pro Bowler. He's just not a Pro Bowler. This is nonsense. I'm surprised how people love Logan Ryan this year. And I get it because his stats are fantastic. He has great stats this year. Great stats. 4 forced fumbles, over 100 tackles. Yeah. And he had the great pass defense, is it pass defense or pass defended? He had the great pass defended today on the Michael Thomas to the, I want to say it was the right side of the field. Actually, it might have been to the left side of the field. Yeah, to the left side of the field because the Saints are moving at least to the left of my TV screen. And that was fantastic. But he also almost led up the Michael Thomas touchdown, and they were just a hair short on that. And you just saw why Michael Thomas ended up with 12 catches over 130 yards, and Logan Ryan was not shadowing him. There's a reason why Logan Ryan is not shadowing him, because Logan Ryan doesn't shadow anyone, because he can't shadow anyone, someone that's really good in this league, because he's not and no one is, I agree. Today, in this league, in today's league, in this year, this era, there are no shutdown corners. I'm with you there. I'm with you. I buy that. I am right there with you. However, there are corners that can limit wide receivers, that can shadow wide receivers. They might not lock down those wide receivers, but they will shadow them. They will follow them around. It doesn't matter where they go, I got you. Or they might shadow or take over one side of the field. They may lock down the left side of the field or the right side of the field, but they're going to lock that part down. They're going to do an extreme job doing their side of the football field. Logan Ryan moves around in the slot, outside, whatever. Does some nice things in terms of getting involved in the run game and this, and that. Not elite. Not a Pro Bowl corner, because at the end of the day, you cannot put him on a wide receiver like Michael Thomas, and he will not limit him. You cannot put him on Or what? You cannot put him on a wide receiver like Michael Thomas and expect him to limit him at all, pretty much. I mean, a little bit, but Michael Thomas still A. DeAndre Hopkins still A. Luckily, we didn't have to face T.Y. Hilton, but he was still... Actually, did we face T.Y. Hilton? We faced T.Y. Hilton in week 2 or 3, whatever we faced the Colts. I want to say that was week 2. Yeah, week 2. He didn't do much in that game, but that's why. That's why. But anyway... So, yeah, Logan Ryan, he did fine, but, he got a little picked apart. And then Tremaine Brock actually had a couple plays today. He had a couple tackles for losses. He had a couple passes defended today. And, so I actually like Tremaine Brock and what he did in terms of everything I saw. Every time I saw him out there, he was actually making some plays. So, Tremaine Brock did fine. But just overall, our pass rush, it's inconsistent. Again, you saw why Harold Landry did not make the Pro Bowl. He's just not a Pro Bowl outside linebacker yet. And I believe if there was a nice counterpart to him, if he had a nice, running mate opposite of him rushing the passer, that he would be able to ascend to being a Pro Bowler in this league, that he would have that 10-plus sack season that we would love to see from him. But after having that stretch for 5 or 6 games in a row in which he had a sack, he's been quiet. And he was quiet today, only 1 tackle today. We just need a stud pass rusher opposite of him. That's what we need right now. And after we get the quarterback situation figured out, after we get the right tackle situation figured out, because right tackle to me is actually more of a concern, then to me, before we even get to the running back position, it is the defensive end or pass rushing outside linebacker. That is the need. The edge rushing need is actually number 3 to me on this football team before the running back position. And that's saying a lot because I do understand we're a running football team. And we saw, we didn't have Derrick Henry today and we saw we lost. But I don't think that's entirely why we lost because we still put up 28 points. Now, it would have been nicer to have had Derrick Henry out there for sure. And if he is out there, maybe we win. I don't think he can definitively say that, so I won't. It's a different game, right? We're able to dominate more in terms of running the football. We're able to really express ourselves, especially early, right? We were up 14-3 early in this game. It's probably a different game. I can't tell you to what extent. I won't tell you to what extent, but that's just something to consider. So anyway, and there were also there were just some weird zone coverages that we were running. You look at the Jared Cook touchdown. So you're running this zone coverage where there's a lot of attention to if you're viewing it in terms of the defense, to the left side of the defense, or for the Saints, the right side of their offense on this Jared Cook touchdown. But like the linebackers, and maybe it was a safety or two, they're about 5 yards, right, off the line of scrimmage in this zone coverage. And then you just see Jared Cook 10 yards behind them just running free. Just running free. And then Drew Brees is like, okay, thanks for that. Look, if you're going to have zone coverage, you need to have your linebackers, your safety, be cognizant of what's going on behind them, around them. If they're just in this 5-yard zone and everyone's just running, yards or routes that are 15 yards deep, of course you're going to get beat every time on that. So I don't know what was going on with that specific play, but that was really bizarre. So that wasn't even a personnel thing. I mean, maybe someone actually was supposed to have, maybe there was supposed to be someone that was supposed to be in that zone, or maybe there was someone that was actually supposed to be assigned to Jared Cook on that play. But I think, who was it that missed the tackle? I think it was 36. So it should have been, I think, LaShawn Sims. But I don't think LaShawn Sims was supposed to be on him. So I don't know. That was just a very bizarre play. Very bizarre play. But yeah, so defense, though, just struggled. And Jerome Casey had his sack today, and thank you for that. But then after that, he was quiet, right? So even Jerome Casey, despite even having a sack today, he got a little quiet, and Jeffrey Simmons was quiet today. He wasn't hurt, was he? I'd have to check that. He might have been, because I was seeing a lot of Austin Johnson. Let me do a quick search for Jeffrey Simmons to see if he was hurt. I don't think he was, but yeah, he was not listed on any injury report. Maybe he just had a quiet game. Maybe he wasn't getting a lot of snaps for whatever reason. Oh no, Jeffrey Simmons was hurt, I think. Could someone in the chat put what happened to Jeffrey Simmons? But yeah, Jeffrey Simmons was inactive. What happened? He wasn't even on the injury report. That's bizarre. That makes sense then. So yeah, we were missing Jeffrey Simmons today. And that, showed up. So Jeffrey Simmons, definitely want to get him healthy and back out there. Jayon Brown, I like Jayon Brown. And, a lot of people thought he was scheduled for a Pro Bowl year. He struggled in this one for sure. It was in my 3 tighten up keys of the game. There are three keys that we almost failed every single one at. But one of them was to contain 2 men, Michael Thomas and Jared Cook. You can let Alvin Kamara do what he's going to do all day. And you saw that was working early, right? So whenever you are able to limit Michael Thomas and Jared Cook from the New Orleans Saints, all Drew Brees is going to do is check down, check down, check down, check down, check down, check down to Latavius Murray, check down to Alvin Kamara, check down, check down, check down. That's all he's going to do. So that was working early, but then, we started letting Jared Cook eat a little bit, and then Michael Thomas eat it, and then that's it. It's so frustrating. There's only 2 weapons, and Michael Thomas is great, and there's only so much you can do to stop him. Jared Cook is good, but he should not kill you like this. I mean, how is it hard for 11 men and 7 men that are not on the defensive line to stop 2 guys? Just stop 2 guys. Let Drew Brees run if he wants to. But literally, just stop Michael Thomas and Jared Cook. I don't know why that's just so difficult. And I know they do a lot of creative things over there. And you can attribute a lot of it to that, and Sean Payton and the brilliance that he has. But it's just frustrating how we could not stop 2 guys. Like, that's literally it. Against the Raiders, we were able to do it, right? We were able to stop the 2 guys we had to worry about. We were able to stop Terrell Williams and limit Darren Waller to a large extent. They even got a fumble out of him. That's all we had to do today, and we just couldn't do it. And we started off doing it, and we did in the first quarter, and it just fell off. So that was very frustrating for sure. Yeah, but J.L. Brown struggled today. Rashaan Evans is limited, and he can't cover. He's able to rush the passer. He's able to be strong against the run. He can't cover. And it'd be nice to have – I like them moving forward. But the problem with our defense, we just have a lot of, good. A lot of decent, right? J.L. Brown's good. Gerald Casey this year, he's good. He's not great. He's good. He's good. Kevin Byard struggled today. Kevin Byard in zone coverage, or not zone coverage, man coverage, cannot cover Jared Cook today. Forget about it. Kevin Byard's been good. And I argued for him for the Pro Bowl, and he did not prove me right today. So, Kevin Byard's good. Kenny Vaccaro's good. Or decent, let's say. He's decent. Harold Landry's good. Daquan Jones, he's decent. Where are our playmakers defensively? Where are they coming from? And we hope that Jeffrey Simmons can provide some of that. We need some elite stuff. We need some stuff defensively that we're not getting. Some big-time playmakers. Some guys that actually can make the Pro Bowl, not because, because some weakness in terms of the depth, in terms of the AFC outside linebackers, but because this is truly an outside linebacker that deserves to make the Pro Bowl. This is truly a stud edge rusher that we have. Don't have that right now. So I really want to see what we can do this upcoming draft because although I love John Robinson, he has not accumulated defensively, except for Kevin Byard, an elite talent yet. There's not one player that he's gotten. Kevin Byard is pretty elite. That's the one. Kevin Byard is the one elite. Everything else, good, okay, or decent defensively. It is time for him to get another elite defender on this football team because we need one. We just need one. And honestly, I don't really care what position it is. I don't care. I prefer for it to be edge rusher. That'd be fantastic. But honestly, if it's a beast nose tackle, although you don't really need a beast nose tackle. But, hey, I would take one. If we have a Dexter Lawrence or something, I'd take that. But anyway, if it's on the defensive line, maybe that's, Jeffrey Simmons ascending as well. Or if it's an inside linebacker, because although I like J.R. Brown and Rashaan Evans, if you bring in Luke Kuechly today, we're a way better football team today, especially defensively. If it's a cornerback, I'm down for it. If you want to let go of Logan Ryan or move Malcolm Butler or whatever you have to do, maybe move Adoree Jackson and get in an elite cornerback. There's not many elite cornerbacks right now, but if that's something you have to feel you have to do, then go ahead and do it. It's just, how can we break this mold? We're going to go out next week. Let's get into playoff scenarios now. But, we're going to go into next week, and it's going to be a win and get in, or we might lose, we might win, whatever. I don't really, unless we win the Super Bowl or at least make a deep playoff run, I don't really care at this point. It'd be nice. Don't get me wrong. I want us to make the playoffs. I do. But it's the bigger picture. How are we going to get to the Super Bowl? That's the question, right? And that's the question I'm obsessing over. So I really think we just need a strong draft offensively. In the past draft, the Simmons, A.J. Brown, those 2 are doing great. Amani Hooker, is he ever going to ascend to being like a starting corner or safety that's going to be a big impact player? I mean, it's early, but don't see that. David Long, don't see that. So, we didn't have a third round pick? No, we didn't have a third round pick. So we just need a strong draft defensively. I don't think we're going to make many, moves in terms of free agency. We might. But how can we break this 9-7 mold? And it might be 8-8. But how can we break this mold? This is something to think about. So now let's get into playoff scenarios. And let me try to make this as simple as possible. First of all, can we just win? Okay, everything becomes simpler if we just win. If the Tennessee Titans win, if they beat the Houston Texans, Houston next week, they're in. Now, the Houston Texans and Bill O'Brien have said that they're going to play to win. That's what they said. Now, you can play to win by playing your backups, okay? And as I said in my Tighten Up Thursday video, or in Tighten Up Thursdays, I should say, I guess, I said, hey, Bill O'Brien, you need to think about something. Would you rather have the Tennessee Titans as the 6th seed, who, yes, are your division rival? I'll grant you, they are your division rival, and you don't love seeing your division rival in the playoffs. But would you rather have the Tennessee Titans as a 6th seed, or would you rather have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who will not beat anyone in the playoffs, whereas the Titans could upset the Chiefs? And then the Titans have a way better chance of upsetting the Ravens than the Steelers would. And then maybe you could host the Titans, a team you'd play well against. I hate to grant it, but I'll grant it. You play well against the Titans. So if I'm Bill O'Brien, I want the damn Titans in the damn playoffs. It's better the Titans than the Steelers. Because maybe we can actually host an AFC championship game if we actually, get to that point. That's chess, not checkers. But Bill O'Brien likes playing checkers, apparently. Bill O'Brien, I just want to face the Tennessee. I just want to beat the Titans. Let's play to win. Let's play to win. Yeah, let's go for the 3rd seed. So we'll see. I think, as we get a little closer, he might get some common sense and realize, bro, there's no reason to really go for the 3rd seed. The Chiefs are not going to lose they might lose week 17 to the Chargers, but I doubt it. And going for the 3rd seed versus the 4th seed isn't really a big deal. And more importantly, I also wonder when this game is going to be scheduled. Because this game might be scheduled, and I said this also in my Tighten Up Thursday, this game might be scheduled at 3 o'clock. If it is, then, by then, the Texans will know whether or not they are locked into the 4th seed. Because the Chiefs and Chargers game is scheduled for 12, and it will be at 12. They're not going to change that one. Noon, Central. So, we might go to 3 p.m., Bill O'Brien say, okay, well, now we're really locked into the 4th seed. Let's just not play our starters. All right, and then the Titans can, probably get in. So that's something to consider. Now, if we lose, okay, so this is not a situation. If we lose, and this is so embarrassing, this is so pathetic, honestly. Talking about getting in, how can we get in at 8-8? I want to get in the playoffs at 8-8. That's so lame, bro. But anyway, so this is how it can happen. So if we lose, we absolutely need the Steelers to lose as well. Because if not, then they'll just have a better record than us, right? And they'll get in over us. If the Steelers lose as well, then we're looking at 2 teams. The absolute team that needs to lose no matter what. The Indianapolis Colts. In any tiebreaker that involves the Indianapolis Colts and the Tennessee Titans, the Titans are eliminated. They don't even enter the discussion. If it's the Colts, Raiders, Steelers, and Titans, before anybody, the Titans get out. Because the Colts have a better division record than us. So they kick us out of that discussion, and then it's the Colts, Steelers, and Raiders, and I believe in that scenario it goes to the Raiders, actually, because the Raiders beat the Colts, and they have a better conference record or something than the Steelers, something, but I know it goes to the Raiders in that case. So, if we lose next week, we need the Colts to lose, or it's not even going to happen, okay? This is so pathetic. but we need the Colts to lose too. Okay? Colts need to lose if we lose next week. So Colts and Steelers. Colts and Steelers. That's pretty much as simple as it is. Then when you get into like, if it becomes, let me check the playoff machine real quick. But I'm pretty sure if it becomes if the Titans, Steelers, and Raiders are all 8-8, yeah, the Titans get in. So that's it. That's basically as simple as it is. That's 100% what it is. The Colts cannot win, okay? If we lose, we need the Steelers and Colts to lose too. So we're getting in next week with a win or a Steelers and Colts loss. We get in next week with a win or a Steelers and Colts loss. That's what it all boils down to. So if people are getting confused, if people are confusing you, if people are confusing me, if people are whatever, we get in with a win or a Steelers and Colts loss. There we go. So we'll see. And if you had to ask me right now, I think we'll win. I do think we'll get it done. I think we're just gonna finally, man up and 2017-esque get in. I'd love to see Mariota out there, give a stiff arm to get us in the playoffs, but now it could be Ryan Tannehill, right? Who can give us that stiff arm to get us to the playoffs or whatever great magical play that we can add to the history books. And then if we make the playoffs, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Now, one programming note. I am unfortunately not going to be here next week. I will be in Washington, D.C. visiting a family member. You all know how the holidays are. I actually have no idea when my flight is. But I know I'm leaving on that Sunday. I have no idea. I got to go ask my mama. I messaged my mama right after this video because she booked the damn tickets. I think that I will be able to watch the game, or at least most of the game, hopefully. I know eventually, at least on Game Pass. And I'll at least be live Monday. But it might be Sunday night, so just stay tuned. And I will be here for Tighten Up Thursdays, and by then I'll know my schedule. I'll know what's going on. So, do not expect me to be live right after the game next week. I assume it's either going to be noon or 3. I think they're going to flex it to 3, though. So, yeah, let's say 3. So, 3, and then, it'll be, the game will end at like 6:30. And if my flight's early enough, then I might be here for a post-game recap. But I may not have watched the game. So, it might just be like a post-game reaction thing. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So, that's one thing there. And then quickly we'll move on to the chat. If you have anything for me, comment it down below in the chat at SportsFan Entertainment. We'll keep the comments quick today because I've already gone for 47 minutes. There was one super chat I wanted to get to. What was it about again? Oh, yeah, it was Ian who asked about Tremaine Brock. And he made some plays today. He had the 2 tackles for loss and the 2 passes defended. So, yeah, Tremaine Brock, he's been playing all right. He's fitting in well. It's just the collective effort of our defense right now. Maybe not effort. Effort may not be the right word. But just the overall play. It's just not there defensively right now, and it's just frustrating. Especially, and I know the Saints are a strong team offensively. And you know what's funny? I literally called how many passing yards Drew Brees was going to have. I said 275. He had 279. Those of you that remember Tighten Up Thursday, I said 275 passing yards for Drew Brees. Ended up with 279 today. That's exactly what I expected from Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints team. And that's why you watch Tighten Up Thursdays, because they give you the good intel. All right. So we look at the chat, just going to answer a couple, and then we will get out of here. Oh, Enrod740 asked, at Sports Fan Entertainment, thoughts on the kickoff specialist today. So I guess you're talking about Greg Joseph, and I mean, he did not do a very good job. He could not boot it out of the end zone, which is bizarre than why we waived Ryan Santoso. Because here's the thing. I know it's bizarre to have 2 kickers and a punter. But, look, that kickoff specialist has more impact than your 4th-string tight end. Right? Like, the yards that are being saved, and these are a lot of yards, because they had 2 strong returns today, which, let's say, combined for over the net, over like a touchback, maybe 40 yards, 40 extra yards they got instead of like what should be touchbacks, if you're actually, kicking off touchbacks every time. So those 40 yards are more than your fourth string tight end are going to give you in terms of not only their catching ability, but in terms of what they're blocking for as well. So I'm actually fine having two kickers because I think that's more significant and more impactful than your fourth string tight end, than, your inactive wide receiver, than Khalif Raymond. Even like not inactive, obviously you have to be active. So like Khalif Raymond, honestly, and Khalif Raymond could score a touchdown. Don't get me wrong, but if the kicking situation in terms of kicking off is this bad, we can't have people returning. Like we already have enough problems defensively. Okay, we just can't have this. So if we need to bring back Santoso, bring back Santoso. But I don't think we can continue to have this situation where we're just allowing all these returns, because this is going to be continuing to really hurt us. Oh, and one thing I forgot to discuss, this Mike Vrabel challenge today was awful. I mean, I don't want to completely bash Mike Vrabel today. He did a fine job. But what a horrible challenge. I mean, it was the most obvious thing that pass was incomplete. I don't know what he's throwing the challenge for. So what, Mike Vrabel's what now, 1-6 or maybe 1-7 on challenges? I mean, the guy, look, he just doesn't know how to make decisions. Look, he can motivate his team. He's a football coach, and that's why I'll never be a football coach, because I can't do that. But dude, I feel like me and Mike Vrabel would be a great team. He needs to hit me up. Hit my line, Mike Vrabel. Let me be the decision maker. Okay? Let me be the what's it called? What's that phrase? The whisper in your ear, or like someone in your ear. Let me be a person in your ear, let me be the guy to advise you, bro, because you just don't know how to make decisions. Like, you're just not a very good decision maker. I know it's hard. Right, so give it to me, because I'm a logician. I'm Mr. Logic. I'm Mr. Logical, okay? Right? Just give it to me. Hand it to me. I'll make the big decisions. You motivate the guys. It's great. That's what he needs. He needs to hit my line. All right, what else do we have here? Ryan Marketel says, at Sports Fan Entertainment, why didn't we try to score before halftime? That's a good question. I thought we kind of did, though. What was that possession? I can't remember the plays on that possession. Before halftime. I can't remember right now. But I thought we ran. I know we ran on the third down. But I thought we did. I thought we gave a decent effort. So I'm not sure about that one. Call Me B says, how confident are you on the backup Raven players beating the Steelers? I'm not. I was actually confident, and hey, maybe I'm wrong, because, hey, I had the Steelers beating the Jets today, but I feel like Week 17, Mike Tomlin's going to get the most out of his team to be able to beat the Ravens' backups. I just believe that. So I'm not relying on the Steelers losing. It's just funny to me we're talking about getting in at 8-8. It's, again, kind of pathetic, to be honest with you. But, yeah, still, I'm pretty confident that the Steelers will beat the backup Ravens players, the Ravens B squad. But that B squad does have Robert Griffin III, does have Gus Edwards, does have some players that can hurt you, Hayden Hurst. So it's going to be interesting, but I just feel like the Steelers will get it done. Someone said the Colts were eliminated last week. This is a falsity, because with the Titans and the Steelers, the Colts are actually, let me see, playoff machine-wise. The Colts might be eliminated in terms of practically. However, they still beat us tiebreaker-wise. So they're literally here or there or wherever, I guess, I don't know how to describe it, just to ruin us. Yeah, so I should have said that. So the Colts are not actually in the picture. They are actually eliminated from contention. However, with the Colts will ruin us in terms of tiebreakers. That's the problem. So yeah, the Colts are not actually in the running. They can't actually get the 6th seed, but they can get tied for the 6th seed, and their tiebreaker screws us over. So let me say that. Whenever I say the Colts are back in the picture, I mean, no, they can't get the 6th seed, but they're back in the picture in terms of being able to tie for the 6th seed and be involved in tiebreakers, which will screw us over. So that's something to look out for. Swelly Bell says, at Sports Fan Entertainment, and we will end on this. Do you think that Ryan Tannehill could be a one-season wonder like Foles and Case Keenum? Well, let me tell you this. He's not going to lead the league next year in passer rating. Now, could we have a top 10 quarterback here? I think it's possible. I think it could be a Carson Palmer situation. I think it could be a Rich Gannon situation. I think it could be a situation where a guy who started, first of all, Carson Palmer, same way. Very comparable to Ryan Tannehill, actually. Very comparable to Ryan Tannehill. So Carson Palmer started multiple years in Cincinnati. I think, hell, probably a decade. It was damn near close to a decade. Carson Palmer was in Cincinnati for a while. It was always all right. No one ever said Carson Palmer's trash. Well, people did say that from time to time. But, Carson Palmer wasn't the worst. People knew he had issues. People knew he had problems. He wasn't particularly clutch. But then he went to Oakland. He did all right. Actually, he had a pretty good year. I think his first year in Oakland. Yeah, I think his first year in Oakland, he actually had a pretty good year. How many years was he in Oakland? So I think it was... I know it was a Hugh Jackson 8-8 year. I feel like 3. And then maybe the second or third one he was trash. Let me look at Carson Palmer's stats real quick. But yeah, he had a strong year in Oakland with Hugh Jackson. I remember that was a very interesting year that they had. But they went 8-8, and it was shocking that the Raiders actually went 8-8. But then he went to Arizona, and he started being an MVP contender, right? MVP contender under Bruce Arians. Yeah, so he went to Oakland for 2 years, 2011, 2012. That first year had 22 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. Next year had 24 touchdowns. Wait, am I reading that right? No, I'm not. So his first year, he had 13 touchdowns to 16 interceptions, so he was bad that year. And then the next year, he had 22 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. What was the year they went 8-8? Was that the 2011 year? Well, I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. Never mind. But anyway, then he went to Arizona, and he had an MVP-level season in 2015 when he had 35 touchdowns to 11 interceptions, lost the MVP to Cam Newton, though, and then lost to Cam Newton in the NFC Championship game. They got killed by the Panthers in that game. It could be very similar to that. It could be a Case Keenum or Nick Foles, but Keenum and Foles were awful, or at least not being awful, but Foles has always been all right. I mean, Foles was pretty bad in L.A., or before L.A., in St. Louis. So Foles was pretty bad there. But, and Keenum stunk. Well, maybe not stunk, but he wasn't particularly, good in Houston. I feel like he's better than them. Okay? I feel like he is better than them. Foles was strong in Philadelphia what's that coach's name again? That crazy coach. UCLA now. Chip Kelly. Foles was very strong in the Chip Kelly era, but then after that he had his struggles. So, and then he also bounced back. So I think we're looking at a situation where Tannehill is not going to lead the league in passing next year. But could he be a top 10 quarterback again? Yeah, I can see it. And his floor is going to be an average quarterback in this league, maybe a little below average, but you're never going to look at Tannehill and say that he's trash. I just don't buy that. I mean, people look at Mariota and they say that he's trash, though, and he has 7 touchdowns to 2 interceptions on this season. So I don't know. But with that said, that's going to do it for me here for the post-game recap as the Tennessee Titans fall to New Orleans Saints 38-28. All hope is not lost, though. The Tennessee Titans win next week. They will get in. I'll be back on Thursday for Tighten Up Thursdays, and we'll preview the Week 17 game. Until next time, this has been Sports Fan Entertainment. I'm out. See you all later.